The contractions were getting stronger as I lay in the hospital bed, monitors beeping steadily around me. My husband James held my hand, his face etched with concern and excitement. That's when my phone buzzed with a text that would change everything. "Thanks for the $180,000 from your account. Now I can finally live my dream life. Always knew you were the family ATM, haha." The message was from my sister-in-law, Olivia. My hands trembled as I quickly opened my banking app, fighting through another contraction. The account balance stared back at me, $241.53. The savings I built over 10 years working as a pediatric nurse, gone in an instant. "What's wrong?" James asked, noticing my distress. I showed him the phone, watching his face transform from confusion to rage. "Olivia did what? I'm calling her right now." "No," I said, gripping his hand tighter as another contraction hit. "Not now. Let's focus on bringing our daughter into the world. I've got this handled." My name is Emma Sullivan, and at 32, I was about to become a mother while dealing with the biggest betrayal of my life. But what Olivia didn't know was that I'd been preparing for something like this ever since she moved in with James's parents 6 months ago. The signs had been there from the start. Olivia, perpetually unemployed at 27, had always viewed my savings with envious eyes. "Must be nice," she'd say at family dinners, "having such a cushy job while some of us struggle." She never mentioned that her struggles were self-inflicted, jumping from one get-rich-quick scheme to another. When she moved back home after another failed business venture, the comments got worse. "Emma's so lucky, married to my successful brother, living in that beautiful house. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here with no opportunities." What she didn't know was that every penny in that account had been earned through countless night shifts, extra hours, and careful budgeting. James and I had built our life together, supporting each other through medical school and nursing school. Nothing had been handed to us. 3 months ago, I noticed Olivia hovering over my shoulder while I checked my banking app during a family dinner. Something about her intense interest made me uneasy. That night, I called my bank's fraud department and set up special protocols on my account. "Mrs. Sullivan," the bank manager, Mr. Torres, had said, "we can create a shadow account. Any large transfers will appear to go through, but they'll actually be held for 72 hours pending verification. Would you like to set that up?" I did. Call it intuition or just good planning, but something told me I'd need that protection. Now, lying in the delivery room, I typed a calm reply to Olivia. "Enjoy." Her response came quickly. "Wow, that's it? No drama? Guess you finally learned to share with family." I closed my eyes, breathing through another contraction. The next 48 hours would be interesting, but right now, my daughter needed all my attention. 14 hours later, I held my beautiful baby girl, Alexandra, in my arms. James couldn't stop taking pictures, his earlier anger temporarily forgotten in the joy of becoming a father. But our peace was short-lived. Olivia burst into the hospital room, designer shopping bags hanging from her arms. "Oh my God, she's so cute," she squealed, not even trying to hide her recent purchases. "I got her some presents." "Well, technically, you got them for her," she added with a smirk. I watched her parade around the room, showing off expensive baby clothes and accessories, all bought with what she thought was my money. Her phone kept pinging with confirmation emails from online shopping sites. "The nursery in my new apartment is going to be amazing," she gushed. "I've already paid 6 months' rent in advance at that luxury complex downtown. No more living with Mom and Dad." James started to speak, but I squeezed his hand. "Not yet." The timing had to be perfect. That evening, after Olivia left and James took Alexandra to the nursery for her checkup, I made a call. "Mr. Torres? It's Emma Sullivan. I believe someone accessed my account today." "Yes, Mrs. Sullivan. As per our previous arrangement, all transactions have been held in our secure holding facility. Would you like me to proceed with the fraud investigation?" "Yes, please. And Mr. Torres, could you wait until tomorrow morning to make the calls? The person responsible is about to learn a very expensive lesson about consequences." I could hear the smile in his voice. "Of course, Mrs. Sullivan. Congratulations on your new baby." As I hung up, I thought about all the orders Olivia had placed, the lease she'd signed, the celebrations she'd planned. By tomorrow, she'd learn that every single transaction would be reversed. The money she thought she'd stolen was safely protected, and she'd signed herself up for a world of financial and legal trouble. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Olivia. Just booked my dream vacation to Bali. First class all the way. Thanks, sis. You've changed my life. I smiled, thinking of Mr. Torres's pending phone call. You have no idea how true that is, I whispered to myself, holding my sleeping daughter close. The next morning would bring chaos, but for now, I had everything I truly needed right here in my arms. Sometimes the best revenge isn't immediate confrontation. It's letting someone's own actions become their downfall. I closed my eyes, finally allowing myself to rest. Tomorrow would be interesting, but tonight was for my family, my real family. Sweet dreams, Alexandra, I whispered. Mommy's got everything under control. The morning brought exactly the chaos I'd anticipated. I was feeding Alexandra when my phone exploded with notifications. First came the angry text from Olivia. What did you do? The bank just called. They're reversing EVOID. My lease agreement is VOID. Answer me right now. I silenced my phone just as James walked in with breakfast. Is it happening? He asked, noticing my small smile. Before I could answer, we heard commotion in the hospital hallway. I don't care if it's not visiting hours. That's my sister-in-law in there. Olivia's voice carried through the door seconds before she burst in, her perfectly styled hair now disheveled, designer clothes from yesterday wrinkled as if she'd slept in them. Fix this, she demanded, waving her phone at me. The bank manager says I'm being investigated for fraud. Fraud? Me? Your own family. I continued feeding Alexandra, my voice calm. Actually, it's exactly what it looks like. You committed fraud, Olivia. Did you really think you could steal $180,000 and there wouldn't be consequences? Steal, she scoffed, though her voice quivered. You're being dramatic. We're family. I just borrowed it. I was going to pay you back once my new business took off. What new business? James finally spoke up, his tone sharp. The crystal healing workshop. Or the pyramid scheme you tried joining last month? Olivia's face reddened. You don't understand. I had everything planned. The apartment lease is signed. I've bought inventory for my new boutique. Booked non-refundable trips. Her voice trailed off as panic set in. Emma, please. You have to tell the bank this was authorized. I adjusted Alexandra in my arms, looking directly at my sister-in-law. Let me explain exactly what's happening, Olivia. Every transaction you made in the last 24 hours has been flagged as fraudulent. The money never actually left my account. It was held in a secure facility waiting for my verification, which I denied. But I have contracts signed. Financial commitments. The reality was finally hitting her. Yes, you do, I agreed. Contracts you signed based on money you stole. Would you like me to explain the legal term for that? It's called criminal liability. Olivia sank into a chair, her face pale. You planned this. You knew I would do it. No, Olivia. I protected myself because I saw how entitled you become. There's a difference. Just then, Olivia's phone rang. The caller ID showed looks Uri pale on his apartments. Her hands shook as she answered on speaker. Miss Matthews, this is Sandra from leasing. We've been notified by the bank that your payment was fraudulent. We need you to vacate the apartment immediately and return all keys. We're also reporting this incident to the rental bureau. Olivia ended the call, tears streaming down her face. My credit score, my dreams, everything's ruined. Your dreams? James stepped forward, anger evident in his voice. You tried to steal from my wife while she was in labor. Do you have any idea how twisted that is? I just wanted a better life. Olivia sobbed. Emma has everything. The perfect job, the perfect house, the perfect baby. It's not fair. Not fair? I shifted Alexandra to my shoulder, my composure finally cracking. I worked night shifts for years to save that money. I put myself through nursing school. James and I built our life together through hard work. The only thing that's not fair is you thinking you deserve the rewards of someone else's effort. A knock at the door interrupted us. Mr. Torres himself stood there, accompanied by 2 police officers. Mrs. Sullivan, he nodded to me. Miss Matthews, these officers would like to speak with you about the attempted fraud on Mrs. Sullivan's account. Olivia's eyes widened in terror. Police? Emma, please, don't do this to me. I looked at my daughter, then back at Olivia. I'm not doing anything to you. These are the consequences of your own actions. Miss Matthews, one officer stepped forward. Please come with us. We need to take your statement. As they led us sobbing Olivia away, James sat on the edge of my bed, taking Alexandra in his arms. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I never thought she'd go this far. I know, I said softly. But maybe this is what she needed, a wake-up call. Mr. Torres lingered in the doorway. Mrs. Sullivan, all transactions have been reversed. We flagged Miss Matthews in our system to prevent future attempts. Would you like to press charges? I had thought about this moment for hours. Not yet, I said finally. Let's see if she learns from this first. After he left, James looked at me questioningly. You're giving her another chance. Not exactly, I replied. But sending her to jail won't teach her the value of hard work. I have something else in mind. I picked up my phone and called my mother-in-law. It was time for the family to understand exactly what their precious Olivia had tried to do, and why enabling her behavior had to stop. As I held my daughter close, watching the morning sun stream through the hospital window, I knew this wasn't over. But sometimes the best lessons come from facing the consequences of our actions head-on. Olivia was about to learn that the hard way. Your aunt has a lot to learn about family, I whispered to Alexandra. But don't worry, Mommy's going to make sure she learns it the right way. James kissed my forehead. You're incredible, you know that. Most people would have pressed charges immediately. I smiled, watching Alexandra's peaceful face. Sometimes the best revenge isn't punishment, it's forcing someone to grow up and face reality. The sound of more running footsteps in the hallway told me our family was arriving. It was time for everyone to understand that real love sometimes means tough lessons, and Olivia's lesson was just beginning. 6 months after the incident, I sat in my backyard watching Olivia mow our lawn, part of our alternative rehabilitation agreement. Instead of pressing charges, I'd given her a choice: face legal consequences or work off her attempted theft through a combination of actual labor and financial education. She chose the latter, though I doubt she initially understood what that meant. Every weekend for the past 6 months, she's been doing maintenance work at our house and taking mandatory financial literacy classes that I paid for. The transformation has been remarkable, if not entirely smooth. Water break, I called out, holding Alexandra on my hip. Olivia switched off the mower and walked over, her designer clothes replaced by practical workwear, her perfectly manicured nails now showing signs of honest work. Thanks, she said, accepting the glass of water. She tickled Alexandra's chin, earning a giggle. You know, I hated you at first for making me do this. I know, I replied simply. But how's that job interview from yesterday looking? Her face brightened. They called this morning. I got it. Entry-level accounting assistant. Nothing glamorous, but it's real work with real potential. I finished for her. And you earned it yourself. The journey to this point hadn't been easy. After that day in the hospital, our family had a long, painful discussion about enabling behavior. My in-laws finally acknowledged their role in creating Olivia's sense of entitlement. No more funding her schemes, no more rent-free living without accountability. The first month was the hardest. Olivia had to move back home under strict conditions. She would work for me during weekends, attend financial classes during weekdays, and apply for real jobs. Any violation would result in immediate legal action. I still can't believe how stupid I was, Olivia said, sitting on our patio steps. Thinking I could just take what you and James built together. The important thing is that you're learning, I responded, adjusting Alexandra in my arms. Speaking of which, how's your savings account looking? She smiled proudly, almost at $3,000. Never thought I'd be excited about saving money, but that class on compound interest really opened my eyes. The sound of James's car pulling into the driveway drew our attention. He stepped out, carrying groceries and grinning at the freshly mowed lawn. Looking good, sis, much better than last month's patchy job. Olivia laughed, a genuine sound that had been rare before. Hey, I'm learning. Just like I'm learning that get-rich-quick schemes are basically just stealing with extra steps. James joined us on the patio, giving Alexandra a kiss. Speaking of learning, Mom told me you helped her set up a budget spreadsheet yesterday. Yeah, Olivia nodded. Once you understand the basics, it's actually kind of fun helping others manage their money better. Whom knew? I shared a knowing look with James. 6 months ago, this conversation would have been impossible. The entitled, resentful Olivia, who tried to steal my savings while I was in labor, had been replaced by someone who was starting to understand the value of hard work and honest living. I should finish the lawn, Olivia said, standing up. But Emma, thank you. Not just for not pressing charges, but for believing I could be better. As she walked back to the mower, James wrapped his arm around me. You know, when you first suggested this rehabilitation plan, I thought you were crazy, but you saw something in her that the rest of us missed. I saw someone who needed to learn the same lessons we did. I replied, nobody gave us shortcuts. We built everything through hard work, smart planning, and respect for each other. Olivia just needed to learn those values herself. Later that evening, after Olivia had gone home, I received a text from her. Just paid for my own car insurance for the first time ever. Feels weird but good. Thanks for teaching me that earning something feels better than stealing it. I showed the message to James as we put Alexandra to bed. Your sister's going to be okay, I said softly. He nodded, watching our daughter sleep. Thanks to you. You turned what could have been a family-destroying disaster into a chance for real change. Looking at Alexandra, I smiled. Sometimes the best lessons come from someone believing you can do better. Besides, now she'll have an aunt she can actually look up to. The incident that could have torn our family apart instead transformed it. Olivia was building a real future, our in-laws had learned about healthy boundaries, and James and I were stronger than ever. As I closed Alexandra's nursery door, I thought about the money Olivia had tried to steal. It was still there, growing steadily in my account. But the real wealth wasn't in those numbers. It was in watching someone learn the true value of earning their own way in life. That was worth more than $180,000 any day.